Ma, calm down. Don't panic.
How can I if we're about to do surgery?
Let me.
Doctor, wait!
Doctor!
Why did you stop, huh?
What's wrong, huh? Why did you stop?
Mr. Liu, it's already been an hour with 3 defibrillations, 1 hour CPR, and 4 doses of epinephrine. We've done all we can.
He's right.
Honey!
Dad!
Honey, you can't die! You can't leave us! We got here at 3. Surgery didn't start till 7. Wait, that was 4 hours! We are at the hospital, aren't we? And he still died. This can't be happening to us!
I cannot accept this. I cannot accept this outcome. I will not accept this! You will give me an explanation!
Mr. Liu, please calm down.
How?
first.
Tell me! How can I calm down, huh? Huh? My father died at this hospital, and it's all your fault!
Mr. Liu, we didn't want this either. We could have begun surgery if you had accepted earlier. Though we couldn't guarantee it, he would have had a higher chance to live then.
What kind
Sir,
of
please,
doctors
calm
are
down,
you?
calm
Huh?
down.
So you're blaming
Mr.
this death
Liu,
on me?
please,
Is that
calm
it?
down.
Huh?
There are other things that must be done. You must understand. Your father's body must be processed. The room disinfected. And your mother, she needs comforting. Mr. Liu, I hope you can calm down. Mr. Liu.
He is gone. Your father is gone, my son. My husband is gone.
Mom, don't be sad.
Mr. Liu. Mr. Liu, I understand how you feel. We can go sit down and talk, but now is not the time for it. First, let's take care of your dad, and you can take care of your mother. I promise you, if there is a problem, we can talk about it.
Director. But he was the one who kept stalling. It's really not our fault.
What did you say, you bastard?
Calm down.
Come back here. Where are you going? Come back here.
Don't you push me!
Get back! Come on!
It's all your fault.
Get
Stop
out!
it.
Please!
Listen,
Calm
you.
down! Calm down! Mr. Liu, listen. Let's take care of the body first, okay? Please, calm down.
You always have to talk.
We were at the hospital already and you still died.
Hello.
I just wanted to know the status of the patient, Doctor.
We couldn't save the patient. He VF'd. Don't say anything. I want to be alone.
What was that? What the heck went wrong? Huh? What's with you three? Nothing to do? Then check other patients. Go now! For typical heart attacks, an ECG's enough. Then inform the other departments, at most half an hour. Tell me, what the heck was the problem with that?
You're right. I know, Director. The family brought him in at 3 and didn't decide up until 7. 4 hours is a long time, but you were there when he arrived. I wanted to give the patient an urgent PC, but then the family wouldn't agree. The wife said to wait for the son, who was in a meeting. When he got here, he said wait for the myocardial results. That's 2 hours. Before the results were in, the son had to leave again. On the way back, he was waiting for other doctors and got stuck in traffic. But he said we had to wait for him. Then the patient VF'd. So I thought, I didn't do anything wrong. It was the family's mistake then.
You claim a very good case for yourself. Wang Bo, you know it's not your first day here. You're the chief resident, so you know what to do. First, the chief resident learns about the patient and their family's viewpoint. You took so long with a PC and then still failed. You're responsible.
The family wouldn't agree. What could I do?
The heart attack was already confirmed, right? What's there to say? You could have said, if they do it, there's an 80% chance he'll live. If not, 80% chance he'll die. You could have just told the family directly. Why would they hesitate? But did you say it to them?
And the 20%? There's still 20%. Director, when you weren't there, I called the son. And I said to him that I was the chief resident, but then he completely ignored me. He said that he knew some big specialists and had to confirm with them first if he should go through with the surgery. What can I do with people like that? If I said there's an 80% chance of living with surgery and 20% death and the patient died, he'd sue the hospital.
Just listen to yourself. You're a chief resident doctor. You should be thinking about saving lives, not avoiding responsibility.
I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling the truth. There are many reasons why a patient dies. You can't always blame the doctor. As chief resident, I went through the protocol, did the preparations, and made every decision. It was a string of bad luck. And why? And there was another old lady. Heart attack with repeated VF. Dr. Shen talked to the family and they agreed to do thrombolysis. And that old lady survived.
Okay, Wang Bo. Let's talk about that. If you're so objective, then tell me, that old lady that VF, who was saved by thrombolysis, who talked to them?
Dr. Shen.
Right. Now then, how come Dr. Shen was able to persuade them? What do you think he said? Answer me. Shen Qingshan, what did you tell them? Chengzhen, you were there then. Tell me. And I'm being serious now. Tell me what happened, and I'll decide what to do.
All right, I'll discuss what happened then. The lady's daughter was a 27-year-old girl and wouldn't stop crying. Dr. Shen told her that they needed the surgery right away. Otherwise, there's a chance that her mother might die. She was a bit hesitant at first, but after Dr. Shen explained it and told her the importance of the surgery, she was cooperative after that, and she agreed to sign the consent. So then her mother was saved. Dr. Shen did a good job. Although, if it were someone else, because everyone's different, what Dr. Shen said might not have worked for—
Don't try to cover up for Wang Bo. Director, can I say something? Go ahead. I know I'm new, and there's a lot that I have to learn. But I do understand Wang Bo's pressure and concern right now. A lot of people always think that as long as the patient is at the hospital, in the hands of a doctor, whatever the sickness is, we can fix it. They'd say that they'll do what we tell them just to save the patient. But there's a problem with that. Sometimes listening to us won't save them. So it's good to be safe. Today, when that man died, I heard what the wife said. Her mind was clear. Even as she cried, she was able to notice this. The first thing she said was they brought him here at 3 and didn't start surgery till 7. We were all here for 4 hours. But the patient's son, he wouldn't cooperate with us. I saw all of it.
That's the point. The family wouldn't cooperate. And Director, I think you said something that you shouldn't have. You told them if there's a problem, we can talk about it. Doesn't that sound like we did something wrong?
What do I say then? Do I tell them, I'm sorry, he died because of your hesitation? And it's not our fault?
Yeah, just like that.
Fine. So you think that you're right. Then keep thinking like that. But I'm telling you, you have to be ready. Because this matter won't be resolved that easily. The family's very upset. And they won't let this go. These things are a case-to-case basis. Do what we can when needed. If there's a problem, solve it. A mistake, correct it. Black is black, white is white.
And here's something for you to think about. When a doctor's patient trust has been compromised and comes to this point, what solutions do we have to resolve it? What can we do to become a good doctor? Wang Bo, you're suspended for a few days. Shuzhen will take over as chief resident.
What for? Doesn't that mean I was wrong?
Shuzhen, go through today's case and reception log. Make sure that you send them to my office by tomorrow morning. Oh, and make sure that after the meeting, there will be no discussion of this with others. You all know what I mean. Adjourn.
Don't just stand around. Get back to the dorm.
Really now? So I'm not allowed to stand anymore?
That's not what I meant.
Now what? Don't tell me you've never been like this.
Whoa, hey, enough is enough. Settle down, all right? Go get some rest.
What?
Come on.
No,
You should
I
really
didn't
get
do
out of
anything
this
wrong.
environment for now.
All right, I'll
Come
go.
on.
Stop staring.
Don't mind him.
Qingchuan, is there something you want to say?
He's already dead. What else is there to say?
I just felt that you wanted to say something. You three, come sort through the record.
Dr. Ouyang, here's Mr. Liu's CAT scan readout and the myocardial enzyme report.
And the record, the emergency log?
Didn't have time to write it. The man just passed away, and we haven't had a chance to do it yet, Dr. Ouyang.
Zuyumeng, get the record and log ready, then give them to Dr. Shen. Everyone, we're doing overtime today. The family might come for the file in the morning, so we have to get it done tonight.
Okay. They're already here?
Huh? They're all wearing suits.
From the notary office?
You, what's your name?
Dr. Shen Jingchuan.
Good. You're all here. This here is my attorney. Those two are from the notary office. I'm here to claim my father's record. An emergency log. I need those ASAP.
Mr. Liu, I apologize. There were a lot of patients today, and many urgent ones. Right now, the files are still being done. It'll be finished by tomorrow in the morning. You can get it then.
I'm afraid you'll have to provide it now. We will wait.
All right then. Please head over to the medical services. We'll still need the director to sign it afterward.
So that way, you'll all whip up some story when we're gone, right?
Mr. Liu, please don't talk like that. You were there the whole time, and we haven't stopped running since your father's arrival. We're just following protocol here. You can understand that.
All right, then hurry up with it. But I'm warning you, if you try to make things up, my mother was there and she's a witness. We'll have each of the doctors in here to verify the details. And we will not stop until we get to the bottom of this.
Dr. Chung, how should we be writing this report? Can you check if this looks okay? Patient had liver cirrhosis, collapse, defibrillated en route, ECG reading abnormal, PC test hindered, myocardial enzyme positive, experienced VF.
Just plain and simple like before.
It is a bit simplified. But how else can we write down the report then? Couldn't persuade them to do a PC since the patient's family insisted on waiting for the results. Then the son arrived, then he left. Can we put that in? I'm not sure there's enough space.
But if we write it like that, it'll sound like we're blaming the family.
King Xuan, we've written records and logs before, and they are never good enough. But we've never had to write a log like this before. This really is tough.
Dr. Shen, what if we call Director Zheng for help? It is very difficult to write this report after all.
And while we're here writing a report, the sun's over there hovering over us. What'll happen to us?
Qianqian, what if we use Zhu Yimeng's report? Just plain and simple like before. Zhu Yimeng's right. We're all doctors. All we need are the facts.
All right, that'll do then. Zhu Yimeng. Include the time, emergency process, and every medication used. PC test delayed, 3 defibrillations, 4 injections, and an hour of CPR. Make sure you don't miss out on any of the techniques, all right?
Got it.
Mr. Liu, you should head back and rest. Mr. Zhang and I are here. Didn't they say that the report would be ready in the morning? You still have a lot of work to do, and your mother needs your company. You should get going.
My sister's with my mom. Mr. Zhang,
Yes.
I'm sorry. Why don't you go on ahead? I can't leave. My father is still in the morgue. I want to be with him, just for a bit. Thank you.
Okay, I'm off then.
Dr. Shen?
Good job. Give it to Director Zheng in the morning for review. Here, and let Wang read it too.
Okay, got it. Dr. Chung?
I'm not sure what Wang Bo will think.
The results look better. So far, so good.
Doctor.
That's great. She's recovering well.
Yeah, she's much better. Thank you all so much. I'm so glad that I listened to Dr. Shen's advice. Whereas my mom...
Dr. Shen is just as happy as you are.
Doctor, that was a really close call back then. And it still scares me when I think about it. And then when I saw that old man passed away... I really don't know how to thank you all.
You should be thanking yourself. There's something else we need to discuss.
Yes?
You see, your mother isn't completely out of danger yet, because we're still not sure of the exact cause of this. Tomorrow's Saturday. By Monday at least, if she's stable by then, we'll be able to continue her treatment.
Huh?
And maybe do surgery.
What? She needs another surgery?
Yes, heart attack patients are at risk for the following 24 hours, and other heart symptoms can still occur throughout the entire following week, like cardiac rupture and heart failure. Right now, your mother is wavering between life and death. The next treatment will be complex and possibly dangerous. So we would need the patient, family, and doctors to work through this together. Then once we're all through with it, we can all be at ease.
All right, Doctor. I understand. Thank you so much.
Mr. Liu, non-patients can't be here. You have to leave.
Mr. Liu?
Dr. Shen, may I talk to you for a while? Don't you worry. I won't harm you. I just want to talk.
Sure.
Wait. I didn't ask you.
Qinchuan, please be careful.
Don't worry.
You can relax. I won't harm you. I just want to hear the truth. About my father. Was his condition really that severe, Doctor?
I'm not sure what you mean. If his condition was already severe to begin with, or severe like how bad it was when you brought him here?
Dr. Shen, among the rest, you seem pretty clear-minded. So I want you to tell me the truth. When my father first arrived, what kind of shape was he in? I wasn't there then, and my mother won't tell me. Don't misunderstand. I don't want to cause trouble. I just want to know what really happened.
I understand. I was there from the very time your father arrived. Your mother said that he had abdominal pain, and then he collapsed at home. On the way here, the ambulance staff already took his blood pressure and an ECG. The ECG is a standard procedure for emergency patients. Its purpose is to inform the doctors of the patient's vital signs during the attack. Your father's ECG reading was abnormal. In terms of heart condition, this is a problem. But knowing that your father had liver cirrhosis, these signs were all not enough to allow the doctors to treat him for a heart attack, as they were considering liver cirrhosis as a possible cause. Do you understand?
Please go on. What happened next?
Okay, and me being a heart specialist, I noticed that his ECG was abnormal. But the situation was complicated. So then, we had a group diagnosis where I recommended we do a PC test.
Didn't you say surgery?
Yes. When our chief resident explained it, he said test, which it is. But the process involves both test and treatment altogether. You can consider it as a type of surgery. Our goal was to determine whether or not his blood vessels had clogged to confirm a heart attack. If they were clogged, then we had to do PCI or thrombolysis. If they weren't clogged, could have eliminated heart attack.
Why didn't you just say that then? So, the PC, why didn't you do it?
You and your mother have to answer that. To be honest, I couldn't understand why you and your mother kept asking us, will the surgery hurt, or what goes on during the process. So our chief resident explained the process to your mother. He said that we would be inserting a catheter deep into his hand to the coronary artery. If we do PCI there, it will only hurt a bit, but with the other alternative, there will be more pain. If the patient, during the PCI on the hand, exhibits blockage, then the doctor will also perform PCI through the thigh this time. It would hurt the patient more.
But why do all that then? Didn't you have to confirm the heart attack first?
And that's where the problem was. If it were all up to me, this is where the conversation would take a different turn. We wanted the family to agree on taking an urgent test, but they kept asking whether or not the procedure would hurt the patient. And perhaps it's because your parents were so close that your mother didn't want him to feel any pain. So when it came to this, we all hit a standstill. Then your mother grew indecisive and said she wanted to call her son to ask you about it. Then our chief resident told me that you called a few other heart specialists to discuss the procedure and said that we had to wait for the test results. But the test results took 2 hours. Yes, your father did arrive at 3 o'clock, and by the time the results were released, we called the catheter room right away. We also immediately called for the endocardial doctor. Also, it was a Friday afternoon. A lot of pieces couldn't really connect. You had already arrived, but then left.
If you put it like that, then everything was my fault, right? So I wasted my father's time. So it was me. I'm the idiot. I'm the bastard. I wanted my father to die.
Mr. Liu, we should look at this matter on its own merits. Try not to be too emotional.
What a mess. Unbelievable. Just what does your chief resident do for a living? You could tell my mother fixated on details. So why did you say so much? Why didn't she just simply tell us, if we do the surgery, he'll live. If not, he'll die.
Yes, Mr. Liu. You're right about that. Our director, in our meeting, said the same thing too. But now, all of us have confirmed that your father actually died of a heart attack. And we have a concise report to judge from that says he was myocardial enzyme positive.
So now we can backtrack and tell ourselves, why didn't we keep insisting on doing the PC test? This is a very grave lesson indeed. However, judging at the time, from your mother's standpoint, she refused to do the test. And you kept insisting and telling us that we should wait for you to arrive, for the results to come out. You can't deny that.
That's enough. That's enough. So I'm the one who's worthless. I'm the one who's good for nothing. I'm such a terrible son. I made my father lie in the hospital for 4 hours, then just watched him die. Fine, I get that. Dr. Shen, can you tell me, have you ever seen such a case? A case with someone as sad as me? And all that stuff you said just means you all didn't do anything wrong. That mistake was ours. If everything's up to us, what do we need doctors for?
Mr. Liu, believe me, I know how you feel. The doctors feel the same way too. We feel awful. I know you're sad, but don't be hard on yourself.
Dr. Shen, you don't know how sad I am. Just now, beside the bed, looking at that lady, I thought if only that were my dad there. But then tell me, how come he wasn't there? And that explanation. Why'd you have to say all that to my mother, huh? She's just an old lady. She doesn't understand. What good are you doctors for, huh?
You know, all that time, when I was in that room, I just kept thinking to myself, why didn't I just go over to them and try to convince them as well? Actually, sometimes when we describe treatment processes to the families, we'll overemphasize the damage involved, which we know may cause fear to those unfamiliar with medicine, thus stalling the exam process. But if we don't come out and say these things, it's hard for the family to decide. At the same time, the conditions are always changing. It's a tough dilemma.
Was there really no other way? Huh? Really? Are you sure you did not make any mistakes at all?
Yes, of course we did. During this entire process, doctors and family both make a very basic mistake. We neglected the condition itself. And the entire discussion seemed like everyone was just trying to protect themselves. Everyone was afraid of slipping up and didn't want to take responsibility. So what happened today was the worst possible result between doctor and patient's lack of trust. In this situation, there is no winner. Everyone lost. And the one with the greatest loss is the patient and their family.
All right, Dr. Shen. Thank you for talking to me. We'll let you get back now. Did you get all that?
Of course, sir.
Are you sure you did not make any mistakes at all?
Yes, of course we did.
What happened? Why were you out there talking for so long?
Don't worry. I just told him the truth.
Look, be careful when talking to families. They might twist your words if you're not careful.
After this, what's there to say? In the end, we just lack understanding of death. When we lose a loved one, we always have to blame someone else. Otherwise, we can't make sense of our own fears and sorrows.
I know you probably haven't eaten yet. Here, I got you something. After you're done, you should read this, okay? Then sign it if there's no problem. It goes in tomorrow, all right?
Hey, that's it? Are you serious? Other than saying the PC got delayed, all the trouble we went through doesn't go in? Is that it?
Fang Bo, come on. It's not your first day as a doctor. Nobody ever writes a report like that.
So why can't we, huh? What's wrong with that? Shouldn't we seek truth from fact? You made a joke out of me. Now the whole hospital knows that the chief resident is suspended. And that's as disgraceful as it gets.
Don't dwell on it. Nobody thinks that. He suspended you to protect you. It is for your own good. Director Zheng is just worried. After all, he doesn't want that guy harassing you. Don't you understand?
No, I don't. I really don't get it. What did I do wrong? Tell me, what did I do wrong? Didn't I follow protocol? You don't know how stubborn they were, especially that son. He was really terrible. He wouldn't listen to anything. It was as if I didn't even exist.
Wang Bo, do you think that you're the only victim here? But seriously, your handling of the situation was a bit slow.
What are you saying? How was I slow back then? Shuzhen, we're friends. Even if we weren't, we're still colleagues. How could you say that? Kicking me while I'm down? You can't do that. You got that?
Kicking you while you're down? What in the world are you talking about? So, you really don't think you're wrong, huh? Directors Zhang and Dr. Shen have been saying you're a doctor. How can you be misled by someone else? You are the main component of medicine. Don't you get that?
I do get it. I'm the main component of medicine, but who cares? Who listens to me? Look how cowardly doctors have become. I say one thing wrong, he's got 10 things ready. You say I'm wrong, then you tell me, how am I wrong, huh?
Fine. You don't think you're wrong. At all. Then let me tell you what you did wrong. Your mistake was that you didn't empathize.
Huh, empathize? How am I supposed to do that? If I made the choice and then there was a problem with the support, who would be responsible? It's not like that never happens. Oh, right, your grandma. Her surgery is a great example. There was a problem, and then you felt terrible, right? That's because you are a doctor here, and your grandma didn't go further, didn't take it to court, and didn't cause a ruckus. Am I not right?
If that's the case, then the patient should just wait to die?
Don't twist it. I never said they should wait to die. I'm just saying in this case I won't plead guilty.
Okay, then I'll tell you why I didn't complain, and why my grandma didn't complain. The reason for that is, despite the outcome, the first chance Director Zhao got, he told me the truth. My grandma didn't complain because 1, she was so worried about me. And 2, it doesn't sound good. But with her current condition, she knew she'll die eventually, so there's no point in complaining.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought her up.
Don't worry about it. In any case, when you're wrong, just admit it and don't keep on denying it.
Why should I admit it, huh? What's there to admit? That the family's not responsible at all? Why should I take all the blame here? Well, that is not happening!
Fine. That's enough, Wang Bo. Enough. We're getting carried away here. So, just sign the report. I've got to hand it in by tomorrow morning.
Sign this? Well, I won't! I won't no matter what! I want to see how the hospital will deal with me. I refuse to sign!
You know what? Never mind.
Oh, 38.9.
Really?
This is pretty high. You need to see the doctor this way.
Thank you.
Careful.
Wrong. Here. Wrong. Your food?
You can take it. I'm not hungry.
Are you sure?
We lost 2 more today. Heart attack and car crash.
Wrong. That won't solve things. You're so busy. We lose people every day. And if you refuse to eat every time someone dies, you're just torturing yourself.
I told you, don't try to talk me out of it. I made a promise. I refuse to eat anything.
I'm sorry. I'll stop then. What if I don't eat too?
If only by not eating, I can make people not die and keep on living. Then I would never eat at all. Changsheng, don't you think what happened today was terrible? Mr. Lu's death was such an injustice.
You can't say that. They all did their best.
But what I mean is, he was already at the hospital, and yet he...
If you put it that way, it shouldn't have happened.
Just what is wrong with people today? They don't even trust a doctor anymore? And that Dr. Wang, why couldn't he just say something more to them?
Yeah, it was sad.
Come in. Mr. Liu, how are you? You're here early.
Director Zheng, we're here to copy the record. This is my attorney, and these two are notaries.
All right. I'll call medical services right now.
Yes, and one more thing. This here is a simple recording of my conversation with Dr. Shen last night. In the record, he admitted that the hospital did make a mistake. And thus, for sealing the record, let's leave that to my assistant and attorney. So let's talk about this.
Mr. Liu, why are you doing this? If there is a problem, let's discuss it. You don't need to resort to this.
Director Zheng, it's that I really don't trust you. Last night I found someone to transcribe this conversation. Take a look.
Director Zheng, what is it?
Dr. Shen, where are you right now?
In the locker rooms. Is something wrong?
After you've done the rounds, please come to the classroom. I need to talk to you.
Sure, no problem. Director, what is it? Have a seat. Last night, what did you say to Mr. Liu's son? We talked about the treatment process. He recorded it. There are things we say amongst ourselves, but we shouldn't mention to the families. I've said this before. Director, I just told the truth. I didn't say anything I shouldn't.
Oh, you didn't, did you?
When we describe treatment processes to the families, we overemphasize the damage involved, which we know may cause fear in those unfamiliar with medicine, thus stalling the exam process. During this entire process, doctors and family both make a very basic mistake. We neglect the condition itself, and the entire discussion seemed like everyone was just trying to protect themselves. Everyone was afraid of slipping up and didn't want to take responsibility. Did you really say this? Yes, I did. Is there a problem with this? Why did you say this to the family and not at the meeting? Do you know the difference? Look, Shen, there are just some things that you don't understand. You didn't do anything or say anything wrong, but he went and got a lawyer, and now they're using this as evidence in court. Director, if that's the case, if they're going to court, so be it. It's a clear case. Both sides had faults. Dr. Wang did make a mistake, right? And the family more so. We don't want to blame the family because they're still dealing with the loss of their loved one. And they're doing this because they can't accept the fact that they've lost him. If we can talk about it civilly, then we can resolve this. You're completely aware that something like this amongst the staff can be resolved. But when the hospital medical services and lawyers are involved, it's a much bigger problem. What's the hospital's stance? Of course they want it settled. To resolve it quietly. People already have enough qualms about doctors. The hospital doesn't want trouble. Every day there are so many patients, problems. Tell me, does any one of us have time for this? I'm against it. Against compensation without principle. If we do this, the results will be grave. All right then. I got your opinion. Go back to work.
These are all of Lu Jiguang's records, emergency log, and test reports.
You're done with him? He admitted?
Let's go. We'll talk in my office.